This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so now today agenda is actually based on the three very important topic. One is the dynamic power dissipation, another is the short circuit power dissipation, and the third agenda for today lecture is the electrical property of MOS transistor. Okay, so in CMOS, you know the CMOS architecture. What is a CMOS architecture? If suppose that I draw the CMOS circuits, this is a CMOS circuit, and this is PMOS, and this is NMOS, this is VDD, and this is ground, and here this is your output, and this is your input. So in this circuit, we know the power dissipation is very less. The CMOS circuit has consumed very less power. That's why it is preferred over the BJT transistor, bipolar junction transistor. But now here the power categorization is some more. One is the static power dissipation, another is a dynamic power dissipation, another is a short circuit power dissipation. Okay, so this is the category of the power dissipation. So if we talk about the total power dissipation in this circuit, then you have to sum up, means you have to add all the power dissipation like dynamic power dissipation plus short circuit power dissipation and addition of static power dissipation. So if you have to add all the power dissipation, then you have to find out the exact, what is the exact power dissipation in the circuit. Okay, so that means we have to find out the individual power dissipation first, and then we have to add all power dissipation, and then we have to conclude that this is the actual power dissipation in the CMOS circuits. Okay, so here, what is the dynamic power? This is the one concept now we discuss in this today lecture. Now dynamic power, what is the meaning of dynamic? Dynamic means change. You change in the circuit. So what is the change in the circuit? There is logic. Your input logic, it is your input. This input logic is change. Means uh, so in one time it is 0, then 1, then 0, then 1. It is all the times it is change from one state to another state. So in this, if you change the state in the input node, that in that time the circuit or device, this device has consumed some power. Okay, if your input logic is changed, suppose that you have to apply, this is a pulse. Okay, so this pulse input is, suppose that this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, this is 1. So in all the state, your device is changed the state. Suppose in the 0 logic, this transistor is on and this is off. But in next time, if suppose you apply the another combination, if you apply another combination like 1, if you apply 1 here, again this transistor is off, but this is on. So here what you have observed in the circuit means your transistor behavior is changed according to your input condition. Condition is changed, your transistor behavior is changed, maybe off or maybe on. Okay, so that means if the transistor is changed, our mode like on stage or off stage, so in that time your power is dissipated in the circuit. Okay, so that is one thing. Your dynamic power is based on the input condition. Your input is changed, your transistor behavior is changed, your transistor is sometimes on, sometimes off. So in that stage, your circuit is dissipated some power. So that is known as a dynamic power dissipation. But now here, our main agenda or main motive is that what are the parameters are involved in the dynamic power dissipation and how to control these dissipations. Okay, there is parameters in the device. That means that parameter is responsible to dissipate the power. That is the dynamic power dissipation. So we go for some mathematical analysis. According to the math formula, then you understand how much which parameter is responsible for the dynamic power dissipation. So now we go for some mathematical analysis. Here you just understand the dynamic power dissipation is the dynamic power dissipation is the switching. If your input condition is changed, if your input condition is changed, then the circuit has dissipated some power. That power is known as a dynamic power dissipation. So if suppose that I put input logic 0 and another time I put input logic 1, so input logic 1, suppose that if the input logic is 0, my power dissipation is dynamic power dissipation is P1. Similarly, if I change the state like it is 1, then my power dissipation is P2. Okay, so now how to find the dynamic power, total dynamic power? So this is P1 plus P2. This is P1 plus P2. So P1 is power dissipation in the logic 0. If your input logic is 0, this power dissipation is P1. Okay, and similarly, if the input logic is 1, your power dissipation is P2. So what is the total power dissipation in the circuit? That is P1 plus P2. Okay, so now first we calculate P1 value. P1 is the power dissipation if the input logic is 0. And now we find the P2 value. P2 is the power dynamic power dissipation if the input logic is 1. Okay, so we go for the like a two case. Case 1, this is P1, and in the case 2, the power dissipation is P2. Okay, so we consider two cases, case 1, case 2, and then we have to find out the individual power P1, P2, and then we have to add these power. So that is your dynamic power. Okay, so that is known as the dynamic power dissipation, because the power dissipation is depends on the input logic. If your input logic is changed or in the switching state, maybe 0, or after some time it is 1, then your power is dissipated in the circuit, and that is known as the dynamic power. So that is totally related to the input logic state. If your input logic is not changed, that is known as a static power dissipation. I already tell in the previous lecture, if the input logic is not changed, okay, then the circuit has consumed, then the circuit is a static power dissipation. But if the input logic is changed from 0 to 1, then it is a dynamic power dissipation, because here the input logic is not fixed, it is changed from one state to another state. Okay, so that is a dynamic power dissipation. So I already tell you there is a two case. In the case 1, I consider input logic is 0. So now I just tell you what is the case 1. So in the case 1, I consider the input logic 0. Okay, and in the case 2, I consider the input logic 1. So according to, if the input logic is 0, if the input logic is 0, this is suppose that the power dissipation is P. Okay, so that is only notation. This is not any anything. This is a dynamic power dissipation if the input logic is 0. Clear? So this is a just notation. Okay, so now first thing, we know the formula P equal to V into I. This is a power. This is a very general form of the power dissipation. So P is equal to V into I. So now here you know very well, if the input logic is 0, so what transistors are active, what transistors are in the switching state? switching state means which transistor is actually work. If the input logic is 0, that means this PMOS is on and this NMOS is off. Clear? You know very well. If the input logic is 0, this PMOS transistor is on, but this NMOS transistor is off. Okay, so you know very well, it is no any problem. So now here, if you observe this carefully, your PMOS transistor is on active state. This transistor is actually work. This is not in. This is off state. Okay. So now you consider only P1 transistor, because if the transistor is off, that means the transistor has not dissipated any power. But if the transistor is on, then this transistor has dissipated some power. So that's why I written this time, this is PP. This power is dissipated by PMOS transistor. Okay, so this power is dissipated by PMOS transistor. So the notation is something very correlated, like P means P type, and that is power dissipation. So if this is on, so here there is no power dissipation. Transistor has not dissipated any power. So our main concentration or main focus on this PMOS only, because the input logic is only 0. That means this transistor is on the active state. If this transistor is on the active state, that creates some problem. Okay, so that transistor has created some problem, and this transistor has dissipated some power. Okay, so now it is very clear. If logic is 0, your PMOS is on, and PMOS has dissipated the power or consumed the power, and NMOS is on the off state. That means this transistor is not consuming any power. So your full concentration is based on the PMOS transistor. So whatever the equation you apply in the circuit, that is only based on the PMOS transistors. Okay, so that is only based on the PMOS transistors. So we go for some analysis. Okay, so I think it is very much clear here. Our full concentration or main objective is a PMOS transistor. We have to discuss on the equations. Whatever the equation you apply in this logic 0 is only concentrate on PMOS. Okay, so it is very clear, no problem. Okay, so now here we know the equation. P is equal to V into I. What is the current? What is the current here? If this transistor is on, your current is flow here. So that current is suppose that IL current. Okay, this current is suppose that IL current. This current is flow from VDD to V0. Clear? This current is flow from VDD to V0. This is a path. Actually, this is a path. In this path, your current is flow. Okay, so now it is clear. This is a gate terminal, and this is a source terminal. Okay, and this is a drain terminal. This is a drain terminal. Okay, so now here our formula is VSD. VSD. So how to find the potential between source and drain? So this is simple. VS minus VD. VS minus VD. So what is the VS? VS is the source voltage. So this is source. And now what is the source voltage? VDD. This source voltage is VDD minus drain potential. What is the drain potential here? Drain potential is V0. This is V0. So now you put VD value is V0. So that means your VSD potential is VDD minus V0. Okay, because the source voltage is VDD and the drain voltage is V0. Okay, so this is the equation. This is the equation if your PMOS transistor is on. Okay, so it is no problem. So what is the current flow here? If the load capacitor is available, this load capacitor is available, So now the capacitor is charged because here the supply is high. This supply is 1 volt. This supply is logic 1, or maybe say that 5 volt. That means this capacitor is start charging. If it is fully charged, that means your logic is 1. Your output logic is 1. So the behavior of the inverter, if the input is 0, your output is 1. Okay, so that logic you already know, but here our concentration on to calculate the power dissipation. So now you put this value, I is equal to C dV dt. You know very well, I is equal to C dV by dt. So your voltage level is actually changed with respect to time. It is very, you know very well, because the capacitor is going on the charging state. So time to time your capacitor voltage is changed. So it is required some time. So that's why your change. Okay, so now here you put this value, this IL value you put here, this IL value you put here in this equation. Okay, just I clear this. This is the IL current. I is equal to CL dV naught divided by dt. And this equation, this current value you put here, IL, then you get the power dissipation. This is a dynamic power dissipation. We are also capable to calculate the energy dissipation. So what is the energy dissipation formula? This is a very general formula. Actually, this is the transient stage. So what is the meaning of transient stage? Your node voltage, it is vary with respect to time, because the capacitor is fully charged, then you reach higher voltage. But if in starting capacitor charging like this, and after some times your voltage is high, so that is a transient stage. This is a transient stage. So in the transient state, output is rising, it is going high value. But after some times, if your output is settled down, suppose that your output logic is settled down, that is known as a steady state, stable state. Okay, so this is a transient stage and this is a steady state. So that's why the capacitor role is very important. If your capacitor is initially charged, that is the transient stage, and after some times if your output is settled down, that is a steady state. Okay, so it is clear, it is no problem here. So every time you talk about the steady state, if you talk about the digital circuits, then you consider only 0 and 1. You are not consider other state. That means you are concentrating only steady state value. Your steady state value means your output is settled down or some stable state. Okay, so every digital circuit is actually work on the only logic 0 and logic 1. Okay, so now that same behavior you analyze here. Okay, so it is now okay. So now we are go for the energy dissipation. How to calculate the energy dissipation? So now this, if you put this value here, your power dissipation is complete. Your dynamic power dissipation is complete. Your derivation part is complete. But now we are also capable to calculate the energy dissipation. Okay, so we go for the energy dissipation. How to calculate the energy dissipation? So we know this formula. E energy dissipation, integration of P dt. So what is P? P you have already calculated. So this value put here, CL. Okay, so this value you put here in this equation. This is P. This is P, and integrate with time 0 to infinity. So that is the mathematical part. If you solve this mathematical equation, this is a just integration, small integration. So first you open this two bracket here, actually VDD minus V naught. So just you open this bracket, and now term is there. So this is the first term, and this is the second term. Okay, so just you find out this value integration of V naught. So what is this? V naught upper limit minus lower limit. Okay, so that is upper limit minus lower limit. 1 minute. Okay, so now just to calculate this value, it is very simple. It is not a very tough, just it is like an integration. All you learn in the 12th class. It is not very tough. So now here two term is there. This is a first term, this is a second term. Okay, so this is a second term. So now just to concentrate on first term, you solve this if integration of dv naught, so upper limit minus lower limit, so vdd, and already vdd is also there. So what is this CLVD square? This is CLVDD square. And now you concentrate on second term. What is the second term? V naught square divided by 2. If you solve this integration, if suppose that, okay, just to concentrate on this term. So if you solve this integration to V naught square divided by 2, and the limit is, what is the limit? Limit 0 to VDD. 0 to VDD. Okay, previously I put 0 to infinity, but what is my higher potential? Higher potential is VDD only. It is a supply voltage. Maybe your supply volt 5 volt or 4 volt or 3 volt or 2 volt. Okay, so we do not go for higher voltage. We are only consider the low voltage like 5 volt only. VDD supply is only 5 volt. Okay, so that's why here we derive VDD value only. So it is okay. So just to solve this equation, so VDD square divided by 2 minus 0. Okay, so now so this is the actual condition. So that is the final power dissipation if your input logic is 0. Okay, so now we assume that this is the power dissipation if the input logic is 0. If the input is 0, this is a case, this is case 1. So in this case, the power dissipation is this, and energy dissipation is this. So this is the one case. So now we also focus on the another state. If my input logic is changed, suppose that my input logic is 1, what is the changes in the formula? Just to observe this equation. And now we go for the case 2. In case 2, I assume that, okay, so now here I assume that my input logic is 0. Okay, so this is a 2. Okay, so here it is already written when the input logic is high, so of course my output is 1. This is the inverter circuit. So now first we analyze the transistor behavior. Okay, so now if the input logic is 0, so that means your PMOS is off. It is okay. PMOS is off, and your NMOS transistor is on. Okay, so this time your PMOS is off, but in the case 1, your PMOS is on. Okay, so this time your PMOS is off. So that means all the conditions, whatever you derived in the case 1, it is not valid, because this power dissipation is only for PMOS if the PMOS is on. But now your PMOS is off, so in that case your power dissipation of the PMOS is 0. But here your NMOS transistor has consumed some power. Your NMOS transistor has consumed some power because this is an on stage. This transistor is on. Okay, so that means the previous value, whatever you calculated PP value for in case 1, it is not valid here. Okay, so here this value is different. This value is 0. But in previous case, there is PP value is some value. Okay, so now we concentrate on this transistor of NMOS because this transistor is actually on, and this transistor consumes some power. Here we observe that if the input logic is 0, this transistor is on and your output is 1. But this transistor has consumed some power. Of course, this transistor has consumed some power because it is on the dynamic stage. This transistor has changed the state from on stage to off stage. If the transistor property is changed or behavior is changed, that means consume some power. So now this time I assume that this transistor has consumed PN power, but your PP power is 0. It is no any issue because this is off stage. Okay, so now here my two objective is that one objective is we calculate the power. Okay, we calculate the power, and after that we have to calculate the energy dissipation, because without this value we are not capable to calculate the energy dissipation. Okay, so without this power dissipation we are not capable to evaluate the energy dissipation. So here if we talk about the current, okay, so the main objective is uh, if this transistor is on, suppose that this is 0 and this is logic 1, so now this is on condition. So in that your transistor is going on the switching state. Okay, if the transistor is on the switching state, that means energy dissipation is half CL VDD square. CL you are using in the output node. You are using the CL in this output node. This is a CL value. Okay, so this is a load capacitor. That is very important thing. If this transistor is on, suppose that this transistor is on, then your circuit, your capacitor is initially charged. Now capacitor is reducing the voltage. Whatever the voltage are there in the capacitor, that voltage is decreased. Okay, this voltage is decreased. If the input logic is 1, this transistor is on, that means this node voltage, this capacitor voltage is decreased. Okay, previously in the first case, your PMOS transistor has connected here, your capacitor is charging, but now your capacitor is discharging. Okay, so this capacitor is discharged. That's why if the capacitor is fully discharged, your output is 0. This is an inverter. If the input is 1, your output is 0. Okay, so I think it is no any doubt to something clear. I think it is very clear. In the dynamic power, actually you are calculating the two state. If the input is 0, the power dissipation is P1 or P, and in the if the input logic is 1, the power dissipation is Pn. So now this is in case of NMOS transistor is on. So now we are capable to calculate the total power dissipation. What is the total power dissipation? So the total power dissipation is very simple. So this is the total power dissipation. Okay, so in the case 1, your power dissipation is EP. Case 1 means your input logic is 0. Plus, if the input logic is 1, your power dissipation is En. Okay, so just you add these two power dissipation and then you get total power dissipation. It is a dynamic dissipation, total dynamic power dissipation. You already calculated these two value. So here you put these two value. So in the previous case, power dissipation is half CLVD TD square, and in this case this is also same. So what is the meaning here? In the first case, In the first case, my power dissipation is half CL VDD square, and in second case also CL half VDD square. So that is 2. So 2 is cancel out. So 2 is cancel out. Now what is the actual power? If 2 is cancel out, your power dissipation is CL VDD square. CL VDD square. Okay, so now here just to observe very carefully, actually the two factor is a very important role play here in the power dissipation. Your load capacitor and your supply voltage. These two parameters is responsible for the total power dissipation. Clear? So that means your load capacitor is must be less, and VDD is also must be less. Then your energy dissipation is less, because this value is directly proportional. If you talk about the factor, your energy dissipation is directly proportional to load capacitor and directly proportional to VD square. Okay, so these two parameters is directly related to energy consumption. If you talk about the energy consumption, this energy dissipation is directly proportional to CL or directly proportional to VDD square. So the load capacitor is play the important role, and VDD is also play the important role. Okay, sometimes if you design the digital circuits in terms of low power, if your circuit is low power, then your CL value must be less. Your load capacitor value is very less. Then your energy dissipation is less. Okay, another thing, if your VDD supply is less, then your energy dissipation is also less. So please care about these two value. Otherwise you have to not control the energy dissipation in the circuit. If your CL value is high, your VDD value is high, then your circuit is consuming more power. That means you have not controlled anything. Your circuit is a high power dissipation. But this is not our objective. Our objective is a low power. We design the circuit in terms of low power. That means in all the times, if you design some circuit, maybe some EDA tool, then you must select the lower value of load capacitor and the lower value of VDD value. VDD value is your DC supply. Whatever your DC supply, you use 2 volt or 1 volt or below. Okay, that means your power dissipation is less in the circuit, and your circuit is low power dissipated circuit. So that two value you must hold, you must control. Then you are capable to control the total power dissipated in your circuit. Okay, so I think you understand this formula. And now if we talk about the if you talk about the clock frequency, okay, so every circuit is based on the clock. So why clock is important in this whole phenomena? Actually, if you change the logic, you are not changing one. This is not a switch here. This is not a switch. If you connect here manually, if it is connect, your input signal is pass here. If it is open, your input signal is not pass here. But this is not a manual approach. Our approach is all the bits, like my bit is 0. I suppose that my bit is like that, 0 1 1 0 1 1 0 0. This is a long sequence. Actually our sequence of the input, this is input signal. This input signal is very long. So that means here we are not on the switch manually, sometimes off, sometimes on. That means we are that means we are not um, that if we go for the approach, then it is not, then it is a time consuming thing. So whatever the process, you apply some clock. Okay, this is a clock. So in this clock, this signal is passed. In this clock, this signal is passed. In this clock, the signal is passed. So that is the processing of your processing of your bits. Whatever bit you apply in the input node, that is passed in your circuit one by one. That is a serial approach. Your sequence is passing in the sequential manner based on your clock. You do not apply the switch. Everything is controlled by your clocks. If your clock is available, then all the signals is passed in the circuit. Okay, so that is actually if you go for the complex circuit design, so all the clocks are connected to the globally. That connection is global connection. That means all the bits are controlled by one pin. This is one pin. So this pin, you have to apply this clock, and then you pass the signal. What is your input signal? Okay, so that is controlled by only one pin. That pin is the clock pin. This pin is a clock. So this is the external in your circuit. This is suppose that this is a IC. This is a IC. So in the inverter circuit, there is one input, one output, but one pin is a clock input. So according to this clock, you have to change our input bit. What is your input bit? So one extra pin is required to change the bit. Okay, so that is a one way. If you talk about the IC overview or IC look is like this. Okay, so now here if we talk about the per unit time, what is the power dissipation per unit time? So already you calculated energy dissipation. So this formula is E divided by per unit time. So now what is the time? 1 upon T is the frequency. 1 upon T is the frequency. So F multiply E. So F is 1 by time period. You know very well this formula. Okay, so now here again you observe carefully. So now this time your power dissipation, energy dissipation is also related to the frequency. So E is equal to F times this value. What is this value? CL VDD square. So in the previous case, if you are not considered the clock period, then these two factor only. These two factor are there. CL VDD square. But now if you consider the clock, whatever your clock, then your frequency is also important. Your frequency control the energy of your circuit, or you control the power of your circuit. So that means your energy is also proportional to frequency. If your clock period is less, then your power is also less, because this is a directly proportional relationship. So first thing, you control these two values, and then you control your clock. You do not waste your clock. Your clock period is also important, or clock frequency is also important to control your energy of your circuit. So this is a general formula. You learn this formula. It is very important to solve some numerical problems also. So what is the general formula of the energy dissipation? F times CL VDD square. So three parameters are important to control the energy dissipation of your circuit. So this is a derivation of the dynamic power dissipation. So already I discussed case 1, case 2. You combine, if you apply these two cases, and then you find the two power PP plus PN, and then you add these two power dissipation, and then you get the energy dissipation. So this whole scenario, if you observe this whole scenario of the circuit operation. So these three terms first you control. Okay, so that is first term F, frequency, clock frequency, and the second term is your load capacitor, and your third term is your DC supply. Whatever you supply you are using here, your VDD supply. So all this time, if you talk about the low power circuits, so if you have to better value of clock frequency, better value of load capacitor, better value of VDD, then your E value is less, energy dissipation is less in the circuit. Okay, but CMOS circuit is a low power dissipation. Already that is based on research. It is already based on the research. Your energy is very less in the CMOS circuits. And the switching speed, if you talk about the switching speed, or output is changed very quickly. Okay, so here this is not a problem, but this parameter actually has required to control. Then you have to control the energy dissipation of circuit. Okay, fine. So now we go for some okay, so already I discussed this one. So this is a general formula I already calculated. This is a general formula. You observe dynamic power. So now the dynamic power is not depends on the device size. It is not depends on the channel length, whatever your parameter you selected, or whatever your W by L ratio. It is not depends on that, because here there is three parameters only. Your W by L ratio is not important role play here. Okay, the transistor aspect ratio is not play the important role here. That means your device size is not important. Your device is size may be anything. It is not control the it is not dissipate the power. But of course your area is much. Your area is something more. That is another issue. But here we more concentrate on the dynamic power. Okay. So another thing, the delay, whatever the delay, if you talk about the delay from input to output logic. Okay, suppose that what is the delay, just to understand here. If the input signal is like this, so in that stage output is changed, but now it is required some time. So that time, actually this is a, so in this time your output is not quickly changed. That means the circuit has some delay. Okay, so this is not considered here. The delay is not considered here in the power dissipation. According to this observation, if you observe this equation carefully, the delay is not play the important role here. So what is the important parameters here? There is only three parameters. These three you have to control only. Okay, your W by L ratio is not play the role. Your delay is also not play the role here. But three parameters has played the important role to change the power, or dissipate the power in your circuit. Okay, so now we go for some. Okay, so just I discussed, time is there, only 5 minutes. I will come this short circuit power dissipation. So now today you understand what is the static power dissipation and what is the dynamic power dissipation. Some formula you also understand, some mathematical formula or modeling approach. Now we just discuss what is a short circuit power dissipation. So in the CMOS circuit, this is not a problem. So why this is not a problem? Because here, if you apply some logic here, maybe 1 or 0, your one transistor is on. Maybe this on or maybe this off. Or in another case, this transistor is off or this transistor is on. So in any case, there is no any possibility you connect the connection here. This connection is not possible in any time. Whatever your input condition, this is a not any way you connect VDD to ground. This is not any possibility. So that is the beauty. If you talk about the beauty of the CMOS circuit, means this connection is not connected here, means your rail to rail connection from higher to lower voltage is not connected at any times. But in some case, if suppose that if this connection is available here from VDD to ground, then your circuit has short circuit power dissipation. Okay, if we assume that this transistor is on the on stage and this is off stage, and now you can change the logic here, then it requires some time to change the state from on to off and this off to on. So in that time, you assume that this connection is stabilized for a very short time. Okay, so that is known as a short circuit power dissipation. So of course this value is not very high, it is very less, but we do not neglect this value. Okay, so this is also played affect your total power. What is your total power? Okay, so that you observe in this equation. Okay, so short circuit is the path. In this path, if your connection is available, then circuit has dissipated some power, but this is not case in the CMOS circuit. But there is a small time or some millisecond or nanosecond time. In this time, you assume that this is a short circuit power, short circuit power to consumption. But this is very small. It is not very something high value. Okay, so that you observe here carefully. It is no any. Okay, so now, so, so so I think you understand this concept very well. Uh, what is a dynamic power dissipation, and what is a short circuit power dissipation, and what is a leakage. If transistor is on the off condition, in that case we assume that your current is not flow from maybe in the channel. In the channel there is no current flow in the device. But if it is value, if suppose that if in the channel, if something current is available at the off stage, if a transistor is on the off stage, if the transistor is on the off stage, then some current is available, some reverse current, or that is known as a leakage current. Okay, but this is value is very less in case of CMOS circuit. We are happy in the CMOS circuit is very less short circuit power dissipation, or very less static power dissipation. Okay, so that means it is not a issue in the CMOS circuit, but all these parameters like static power or dynamic power or short circuit power is is uh, is something important to find out the total power dissipation in the CMOS circuits. Okay, so this is for today agenda.